Hello, friends. Welcome to Empty Cloud Monastery. I am here with Bhante Sumitta again, our lovely guest for the Vasa. And hello to Geeta, Poonam, Roy, Rick, Dulani. Good to see you. And welcome to all the other friends that I only see as a little number on the screen. Hello, Jayanta. Good to see you, everyone. So without further ado, I'll pass it on to Bhante Sumitta, who will be sharing some words of Dhamma with us on the Brahma Viharas tonight, I believe. Thank you, Bhante.
Samanta Chakravalesu Atra Gachantu Devata Sadhang Mang Munirajas Sunangtu Sagga Mokkhadan Dhamma Savana Kalo Ayang Bhadanta Dhamma Savana Kalo Ayang Bhadanta Dhamma Savana Kalo Ayang Bhadanta Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Karaniya Matha Kusalena Yang Tang Sang Tang Padang Abhisamicca Sakko Jocha Sujocha Suvacho Chassa Mudu Anatimani Santosa Kocha Nipakocha Appagabho Kulesu Ananugidho Nacha Koddang Samachare Kinchi Yena Vinyu Pare Upavadeyam Sukhino Akhemino Honto Sabbe Satta Bhavantu Sukhitattati. My utmost respect to the perfectly enlightened Samma Sambuddha, noble doctrine of the Buddha, and the noble Mahasangha, the disciples of the Buddha. Hello everyone, all Dhamma friends from around the world. Good morning and good evening to all of you. And today's Dhamma talk is about finding divinity within. I think we have been also discussing here few days ago, like about the devas and other sentient beings. And I remember Bhante Sudaso always loves to meet some devas, and he prefers to contemplate on devas more. And then it is really important that we keep practicing. There is a meditation called Devatanusati and contemplation on those divine beings. And in the Buddha's time, like a lot of people thought in India that the creator God of this world is Brahma, Mahabrahma. He is the creator God according to them. And so they also had, there were actually a lot of references regarding the Brahma and also the Brahma qualities, really important. And so the Buddha has explained many Brahma qualities, especially the four Brahma qualities, Metta, Karuna, Mudita, and Upekha. They are very powerful and they are very important for our life. I think to find divinity within us, it is important to inculcate these four qualities within us. If you want to see devas, you practice these things. And one time the Buddha was with a large conglomeration of monks, and that time Buddha saw so many devas and brahmas were there, uh, like to pay respect or to listen to the dhamma of this Buddha. And that time Buddha actually invited the monks. Do you know there are so many devas and brahmas right now in the sky? There are many, many, many thousands and thousands and thousands of them. They are here gathering around to pay respect to the Samma Sambuddha. And it was not only to me as the Samma Sambuddha, but to the past Buddhas also. Those devas and brahmas were gathering in large number. And if you want to see them, you probably can see them with your naked eyes. And then the Buddha said, keep practicing, meditate, and improve your Dibba Chakku, that what do you call clairvoyance, right? And so if you keep practicing, you will probably see them. And so the monks kept practicing, and many of them actually could see many wonderful devas and brahmas. So it was probably much easier, comparatively much easier for those disciples those days, because they have been traveling together with the Buddha when he was fulfilling paramita as the Bodhisattva, and many of them were accompanying them. And so it was just a matter of time that they would be able to blossom as great arhants. And so Buddha, when he inspired in many different ways, and all these monks could actually become arhants. So that way they could see the devas. So the devas should be here too. Today, for example, I invited them here. Do you know that? I invited devas when I chanted this traditional Devata Radhana, what we call invitation to the Devas. Samanta Chakkavalesu Atra Gacchantu Devata. From all around the world. Chakkavala means the universe. And all those world system, universal systems. If there is any Deva, Atra Agachantu Devata, may they come here. And Saddhammang Munirajasa Sunantu Sagga Mukhadang, the true Dhamma of the kings, of the sages, that is the Buddha, is to be heard. They can listen to the Dhamma. And this Dhamma also can lead to the heaven. Sagga Mukhadang is that. So that way we invite the Devas actually to be here, even here at this beautiful empty cloud monastery. So clouds are there, easier for them to reside. Yes, so having said that, what we actually chose as the title stanza for my Dhamma talk today is the discourse on loving kindness. I'm sure many of you are very familiar with this. Is in Khuddaka Nikaya 1.9, and Karaniya Metta Sutta or Metta Sutta is what it is called. And I will discuss a little bit more about some more other references to, especially reference to Visuddhimagga. I also had the habit of finding how many appearances are there in this word in the Tipitaka. So the metta word appears 1345 times in many suttas, in many books. And then I found karuna appears as 831 times, and mudita 311 times. That's quite low, right, comparatively. And then upekha 1456 times, more than even the metta. So it's also very interesting, and many of the Atthakathas and Tikas also discuss, and even the Digha Nikaya 13, that sutta also discusses about the four Brahma Viharas, four sublime states or divine abodes or whatever we call it. And it is also said at our home. So many people, when they were worshipping, or when they were saluting, or when they were paying respect to the Mahabrahma, Buddha recommended, why don't you do this very same salutation to those Mahabrahmas that you have right at your home. These are the parents, our mother and father. So the Buddha said, actually, this mother and father, yesterday I think we were talking about the Tigaloa, the sutta, and this mother and father have all these qualities. Metta, karuna, mudita, upekka. Metta, loving kindness, and unconditional when it comes to the motherly or fatherly love. They will love their children unconditionally, immeasurably, and without any boundary. And then karuna is when the children are suffering, the parents are also suffering. And that karuna, that hadaya kampana, or that vibrating nature of their heart is there. Remember, these four qualities actually are to be somewhere centered in our heart more than the brain. And so if you have like metta, karuna, and mudita, upekka, if you practice this meditation, and you can attain up to 4 jhana, and your heart center will be the first to respond. You will actually find the genesis of your jhana right there somewhere in the heart center. So again, it's very important. And then karuna and mudita is when the children are happy, the parents are happy too. They don't have jealousy. This is one of the biggest challenges that we have, biggest issues that we have. If you see someone has a little different edge over you, then you feel like little bit jealousy, and sometimes it can happen. Like let's say like people who are competing in the Olympics these days. So if you have some people like competing in the same event, and then you have the like almost the same records you have, then you might be having that jealousy. It's actually natural that if that happens. But this beautiful cultivation called mudita can make us much more useful in tackling that challenge. It's sympathetic joy or empathy or whatever you call it, mudita. And then the last one is the upekka, the equanimity, not being affected by whatever happens, and you should be able to maintain the balance. And the Buddha and the Arhantas, they had a wonderful quality called tadi. Tadi guna means you are not being affected by any of these ups and downs in life. So upekka, we will discuss a little more about them. One time, a group of monks, they took a meditation object during the Vasa, like these days. And those monks actually went to the Buddha and they asked for some meditation object, and they went to a far remote area, and then um, they entered a forest close to a village, because they also need to go for some alms rounds. If you stay in the jungles, let's say like you go to the nature's reservation here, and lucky you have some people around, so you can go to farmers market or something for food. But if you go to a like far remote area where there is only jungle and no people, then it will be difficult for you to survive. And so those days monks used to go to wild those jungle and areas where you can happily and peacefully practice. They were also thinking of their survival, so they would stay close to a village. And so they were entering the forest, and so some of the devas in the forest, they are called Rukka Devata, or tree gods. Those angels are actually very happy to see the monks, and they came down, and the monks didn't, of course, see them, but the devas paid respect to them. Out of respect for them, they came down from their tree abodes. And then they were watching these monks are not showing any sign of leaving, and that was really a little bit of frustrating the devas. Remember, devas are not perfect. They are not enlightened. Most of them are not enlightened, but they are really very happy beings. And when they see like these monks are not showing any sign of leaving, they were also got little bit frustration, and frustration led to aggression. So they were like, the monks have been here actually for 3 months, not for like 1 or 2 days. And then while the monks were meditating silently, peacefully, and they heard some weird sounds, scary sounds. And when they opened their eyes, they saw some scary sights. So it was difficult for them to, these monks are also normal, average monks. So it can happen when you hear some sounds. So devas also, if they want, they can show up. If they want, they can also create some sounds. You never know how it happened. And so the monks could not meditate. They tried and tried and tried. They could not meditate. They went back to the monastery, back to the Buddha. And Buddha was actually waiting. Buddha knew the whole story. He knew that, and he was waiting for them. Then Buddha asked, how come you are so early? It is not even the end of 1 month. You were supposed to be there like 3 months. And why are you so early here? And then the monk said, Bhante, we could not focus. At the beginning it was so peaceful, so nice, and the forest that we went was really, really beautiful and peaceful and very ideal for our meditation. But after some days, we found like it was difficult for us to concentrate. We heard some sounds, we saw some scary sights, so we had to go back. We had to leave that. And then the Buddha said, you know what? When you are encountered with some situation, some challenges, you should not run away. You have to encounter that. You have to face like a man. And so go back to the same jungle, go back to the same wilderness, and start practicing. And then the monk said, if we go there, we would have the same situation. How do we, we will be scared, and it would be difficult for us to meditate. And then the Buddha said, okay, I'm giving you a very powerful protection with you. So go chanting with this paritta, this mantra, when you enter the forest. So they were taught this beautiful Karaniya Metta Sutta, the discourse on loving kindness. And so the monks went. They entered the place, and they could actually meditate very well. It is said the monks could meditate so well at the end of the Vasana period, they all became arahants. That is the story of this Karaniya Metta Sutta, and the power of the Karaniya Metta Sutta is so wonderful. And if we go to this sutta, actually Karaniya Metta Sutta is also a really, really important sutta for all of us. And I think it is very important if we practice this loving kindness meditation with the Karaniya Metta Sutta. The first part of the sutta talks about the requirements, qualities, qualifications of a metta practitioner, loving kindness practitioner. So if I go through the meanings here, Karaniya Mattha Kusalena, that means by one who is skillful or adept. Yantang Santang Padang Abhisamicha, if one should be done is this understood, one who has understood the peaceful path. Yantang Santang Padang Abhisamecha means Santang Padang is peaceful path. That is actually kind of Nibbana, we can say. Santang Padang and peaceful path. If somebody wants to achieve the peaceful path, that person should be Attha Kusala. Kusala means skillful. And Sakko, he or she should be competent. Uju, straightforward. Suju, upright. Suacho, easily admonished. And Mudu Anatimani. Mudu means gentle, and Anatimani is humble. No mana, no ego, no conceit. So these are really important characters. And also santusako, you should be content with whatever you have. You may be having like less food or less comforts or less facilities. You should be happy with whatever you have. Nipako means prudent. And appagabbo, unobtrusive. Kulesu ananugiddo, you're not greedy when you are amidst people. Kulesu ananugiddo, you are not so much attached to those families also. These are really, really important. And then nacha kuddang samachare kinchi, not doing anything, no matter how minor. Yena vinyu pare upavadeyo, that the wise would criticize. When you do something, even a little slight mistake, if you feel like the wise people would admonish us, criticize us, then you have to get rid of that. In another very beautiful sutta, I remember the Buddha mentioned about it is not those big or huge mistakes or errors that we should more focus on. Those little things in our life. We have to be really careful about those little things, and so that way you can your practice can be much more powerful. So nacha kuddang samachare kinchiyena vinyu pare is just that. And these are the qualities. Remember the qualities now. Sakko, one should be competent, straightforward, upright, easily admonished, gentle and humble, and content, easy to support. Subhara means easy to support. Like you are not a burden to any temple or even to your devotees. You can easily survive. And Appakicho, okay, I think I forgot that. Appakicho is Now you need to have very few duties, not so much, not so much duties. If you have so many things to do, it will be very difficult to practice. You get restlessness because uddhacha is a part of this bahukicca, you know, and sallahukavutti is minimalist lifestyle. You have very simple. You can do very few things, and you can do just be happy. You know your lifestyle is really very humble and simple. Santa Indriyo is peaceful. Indriya is faculty. Yeah, when you see somebody, you feel like that person is very peaceful. You should see that. And Nipaka, prudent, unobtrusive, not greedy when his family is, and they're not doing anything, no matter how minor, that the wise would criticize. These are the qualities that we need to have. These are the qualifications that we need to have before practicing metta. And then the sutta discusses about these beautiful, powerful practice. Sukhino va khemino hontu sabbe satta bhavantu sukhitatta. May everyone be happy and safe. May all beings be happy within themselves. Ye kechi pana bhutati tasava dhavarava anavasesa Dighavaye mahantava majjhima rasakanukatula. Panabhuta means living beings, and tasava means with weak, or thavara means strong. Tasava thavara. Anavasesa, na avasesa means without exception. So you share this loving kindness, you send this loving kindness to all those weak and strong both. And then Dighavaye Mahantava, there can be long, there can be large, there can be medium, short, Majjhima Rasa Kanukatula, like short, tiny, huge, any, including mosquitoes. And all the other insects and all the other huge animals, all of them. Dittava yeva addittha. Yecha dure vasanti avidure. Seen or unseen. Dittha means seen. Adittha means not seen. Dure means close. Oh, sorry. Dure means far away, and avidure means close by. So all sentient means seen and unseen. All of them, we have to send that loving kindness. Sukhino va kemino hontu sabbe satta bhavantu sukhitatta. May everyone be happy and safe. May all beings be happy within themselves. And then I also found this one is interesting. Bhutava sambhave seva. Bhuta means already into being. They have come into being. And sambhavesi means sambhava AC. That means they are searching for a birth. Could be like pregnant mothers have the babies inside, or they should probably be those beings that are just about to be born. Sambhavesi. And sabbe satta bhavantu sukhitatta. May all sentient beings be happy. May all beings be happy within themselves. I really like this line. Naparo parang nikubbetha nati manyeta katha chinang kanchi. Naparo parang nikubbeta means may no one deceive another. Nikubbeta means deceiving. May no one cheat another. Na atimanyeta katha chinang kanchi. Atimanyeta means despise. May no one despise anyone anywhere. Really, really powerful words here. Vyarosana patigha sanya nanyamanyasa dukkamiche. May no one, vyarosana means out of anger. Patigha sanya means aversion. And Na anyamanyasa means to each other. Dukkhang ichaya means na dukkhang ichaya means wish for another to suffer. So may no one out of anger or aversion wish for another to suffer. So this is again I think these two lines naparo paran nikubbeta nati manyeta kattachinan kanchi. May no one deceive another, may no one despise another, and also out of anger or aversion, may no one wish for another to suffer. Really, really powerful words here. And then we have a very famous, very popular simile that the Buddha has given here. Mātāyatha niyang puttang ayusāyeka putta manurakhe evaṃ pi sabba bhūtesu mānasang bhāvaye aparimanam. Mata means mother. Just as a mother, niyang puttang, her own son, ayusa, even at the cost of her own life, eka puttang, only one son. She has only one son. So even at the cost of her own life, she would protect. Anurakhe, she would protect the child. I recently saw a photo, a deer is attacked by two cheetahs, and they are actually like one was holding the throat, and the other one was on the back, and so the deer's eyes really very calm and very peaceful. No fear or no anger, no nothing. It is said there was a description there, and she was readily and happily sacrificing her own life in order to save her own little deer. So imagine the loving kindness, the love of the mother, whether it is animal or human, it doesn't really matter. So they all have that powerful kindness or loving kindness to their children. That is why the Buddha said, you have the Brahma, the creator God, those loving kindness, immeasurable loving kindness, compassion, and sympathetic joy and equanimity at your home. They are your Brahmas, actually. And then just as a mother who would protect her only child, even at the cost of her life, mettancha sabbalokasmin, in the whole world, you have to radiate loving kindness. Manasang bhave aparimanang, immeasurable love, aparimana. Manasang bhave means show loving kindness or practice loving kindness or send or radiate loving kindness. That is the meaning. So in this world, one should develop a boundless heart of loving kindness towards the entire world. Just as a mother would do to her own child, can we do it to all the other sentient beings? This is a very, very powerful statement again. Uddhang adhocha tiriyang cha asangbadhang averang asapathang tithang charang nisingno va sayano va yavatassa vigatamiddo etang sating aditteya brahmametang viharang idhamaho. So Uddhang means above, Adho means below, Tiryang means across, all around, and Asangbadhang means without any boundary, unconstrained. Averang means, Vera means hatred, anger. Averang means without any hostility. Asapattang means without any enmity. So to all sentient beings. Tithang charang nising noa. Tithang means standing. And charang means walking, moving. Nisinno means sitting. and sayano means reclining. These are the four postures. Actually, we also practice in meditation. We think of these things. So people who are standing, people who are sitting, walking, and reclining, we think of all of them. Right now, I can send the loving kindness to all our wonderful sitting empty cloud members here, Mahasangha and our Dhamma friends. So sitting members and maybe the others standing, moving, reclining can also be there, seen and unseen, right? You never know. Yavatassa vigata means though, as long as one is not drowsy. So until you feel sleepy, you fall asleep, you send the loving kindness to them. Etang sating aditya brahma metang viharang idamaho. One should be mindfully dedicated to this. This is called divine abiding. This is the Brahma Vihara. And Dittincha Anupagama, the last stanza is gives the kind of the final message of the Buddha. Dittincha Anupagamma Silava. Ditti means you don't have wrong view. Okay, this is important. Dittincha Anupagamma Silava means Dittincha Anupagamma means you have not adhering to wrong opinions. And then Silava, virtuous. You become virtuous. And dasanena sampanno, you also need to have dasana. You should not have ditti, the micha ditti, but you should have dasana, means that perfect awareness should be there. And kamesu vineya gedhang, having removed obsession with sensuality, you have to get rid of that. Nahi jatu gabbhaseyang puna etiti, that means that person will never come back to a womb again. What does it mean? It means you will become arahant, you will become enlightened, you will become liberated, right? So this is the story of this powerful sutta called Karaniya Metta Sutta. So I would like to actually go for a share with you a beautiful loving kindness meditation that we practice in Sri Lanka. When we were little monks, I think we also have this practice in Thailand also they have this tradition, but we have a little bit different, almost the same thing. So I will just read this Pali, and I invite you all to join with me and practice the loving kindness. And later on, we will discuss about the little other thing. This doesn't take much time, okay? So just settle on your seat and sit comfortably and straighten your back and straighten your head and relax your shoulders and relax your eyebrows and close your eyebrows. Keep one palm to the other and place them on your lap, or you can rest them on your knees too if you like to do so. And then please listen to this Pali chanting. Later on, I will try to explain in English too. Ahang avero homi, abhya panjo homi, anigho homi, sukhe attanang pareharami, ahang viyamaihang Achareyo pajjaya mata pitaro hita satta මජ්ජත්තික සත්තා වේරී සත්තා අවේරා හොන්තු අභ්‍යාපජ්ජා හොන්තු අනීඝා හොන්තු සුඛේ අත්තානං පරිහරන්තු දුක්ඛා මුංචන්තු යථාලද්ධ සංපත්තිතෝ මාවි ගච්ඡන්තු කම්මස්සකා ඉමස්මින් විහාරේ ඉමස්මින් ගෝචරගාමේ ඉමස්මින් නගරේ ඉමස්මින් ඇමරිකාදීපේ ඉමස්මින් චක්කවාලේ ඉස්සර ජනා සීමට්ඨක දේවතා සබ්බේ සත්තා අවේරා හොන්තු අභ්‍යාපජ්ජා හොන්තු අනීඝා හොන්තු සුඛේ අත්තානං පරිහරන්තු දුක්ඛා මුංචන්තු යථාලද්ධ සංපත්තිතෝ මා විගච්ඡන්තු කම්මස්සකා පුරත්ථිමාය දිසාය දක්ඛිනාය දිසාය පච්චිමාය දිසාය උත්තරාය දිසාය පුරත්ථිමාය අනුදිසාය දක්ඛිනාය අනුදිසාය පච්චිමාය අනුදිසාය උත්තරාය අනුදිසාය හෙට්ඨිමාය දිසාය උපරිමාය දිසාය සබ්බේ සත්තා සබ්බේ පානා සබ්බේ භූතා සබ්බේ පුග්ගලා සබ්බේ අත්භාව පරියාපන්නා සබ්බායිත්තියෝ සබ්බේ පුරිසා සබ්බේ අරියා සබ්බේ අනරියා සබ්බේ දේවා සබ්බේ මනුස්සා සබ්බේ විනිපාතිකා අවේරා හොන්තු අභ්‍යාපජ්ජා හොන්තු අනීඝා හොන්තු සුඛේ අත්තානං පරිහරන්තු දුක්ඛා මුංචන්තු යථාලද්ධ සංපත්තිතෝ මා විගච්ඡන්තු කම්මස්සකා. May I be free from hatred. May I be free from oppression. May I be free from trouble. May I take care of myself and be happy. And like myself, may my teacher, preceptor, mother, father, those who are benefactors, those who are neutral, and those who are enemies, be free from hatred, free from oppression, free from trouble. May they take care of themselves and be happy. May they be free from suffering, being ones who own their actions. May they not lose whatever prosperity they have gained. In this living place, in this alms village, in this town, in this country of America, in this universe, may the leaders of the people, the gods within boundaries, and all beings be free from hatred, free from oppression, free from trouble. May they take care of themselves and be happy. May they be free from suffering, being ones who own their actions. May they not lose whatever prosperity they have gained. In the eastern direction, in the southern direction, in the western direction, in the northern direction, in the southeastern direction, in the southwestern direction, in the northwestern direction, in the northeastern direction, in the lower direction, in the upper direction. May all creatures, all breathing creatures, all beings, all persons, all individuals, may all women, all men, all those who are noble, all those who are not yet noble, all gods, all human beings, all who have fallen into the lower realms, be free from hatred, free from oppression, free from trouble. May they take care of themselves and be happy. May they be free from suffering. May they take care of themselves and be happy. May they be free from suffering, being ones who own their actions. May they not lose whatever prosperity they have gained. Please take a good long deep breath and hold it for a few seconds. And then slowly release and relax. Please keep your palms together close to your heart with closed eyes and say 3 times. Sadhu,
Sadhu,
sadhu, Now gently and compassionately open your eyes with a positive energy and looking at the brighter side of the world. Okay. All right, that is the part of the practice that we learned from the theory. And now I think it will be important for us also to take a look at a little bit more about the four Brahma Viharas. As I mentioned, there are a lot of suttas that discuss about these four noble qualities. And in many suttas, in fact, it is mentioned in separately and together as well. I would like to go to one of the most popular treatise that we have, what we call Visuddhimagga, the path of purification. And even in Abhidhamma Sangha, this thing is mentioned in Abhidhamma and in the other suttas. We also find so many details about this. I was particularly interested in talking about the description that we have in Visuddhimagga, translated by Bhikkhu Jnanamali. So here, Venerable Bhikkhu Jnanamali, he explains about, he translates this thing. Buddha Gosa, Venerable Buddha Gosa explains about the these four sublime states. So metta, or loving kindness, is explained as something that is friendly. Also, much more detail actually is there in this sutta about the loving kindness, metta. And the other parts of the four sublime states of Brahma Vihara have not been explained that much. But these things are also, the practice can be applied in the same way. That is why it is not explained in so many details. So loving kindness or metta has no boundary. And when you want to discuss about the loving kindness, it's also when you send loving kindness, just as we did, it will take us to the jhanic state. And so it is really important that we keep practicing on this loving kindness like this. And so in the in this sutta, I'm trying to find the reference that I was looking for. So metta, karuna, mudita, and upekha. This okay. So here, unlimited, boundless, and unconditional love and compassion that you can share with all the world without any demarcation, without any limitation. This is what we call metta. Okay, and what do we call karuna? Karuna is when somebody is suffering, when somebody is in need of our help, and then we have karuna. Paradukhe sati hadayang kampeti iti karuna is how it is explained here. And in this in this book, yes, here we go. It is the loving kindness, chapter 9, divine abidings, from page number 291 onward. We have this, and let me go real quick. 291. So karuna is when we have that loving kindness or compassion towards the suffering beings. And mudita is when somebody is happier, when somebody is in a better position, then we still do not have the anger or jealousy towards such people. And this again is an important practice. And upekha has been covered in many suttas in different ways. We also have, I remember last time Christy was asking a question on Potaliya Sutta. I checked that there are two kinds of upekka, and so one is about this normal mundane average upekka that we can have, and the other one is when you are away from all the other things, like you are not being moved by things, then it is another kind of upekka. Like the arahanta monks, for example, when somebody is enlightened, you also see some other people leaving you. Like when somebody is sick, for example, normally our karuna is such, we start crying, right? We feel sad and we start crying. That is the normal thing. But for those people, like the arahanta people, they will never cry. They even when the Buddha passed away, it's really, really important. Like how do we, like the Venerable Ananda could not stay without crying. His tears, also came rolling down, and a lot of other monks and nuns and so many other people, they were so sad and very grief stricken, and they had hard time in dealing with that situation. But the wonderful arahanta monks, they didn't have any such problems, because they knew that is the nature of the world, and that is the nature of the very dhamma that the Buddha was explaining about. So it can happen to them. And in this Dhammapada, there is saying, no higher rule, the Buddha says, than patience, and no nibbana higher than forbearance. Patience in force, in strong array, it is him I call a Brahman. No greater thing exists than patience. Kanti paramang tapo, I think that is about the Kanti, and it is also related to the this, what do you call, metta. And so metta also comes from mitta, that means friendliness. When you share your friendliness with the other people around, and also the other sentient beings, all the animals, everyone, that is not so easy to practice for many people. Let's say, like some people are like let's say, how if you are a non-vegetarian, yeah, but you still have that beautiful and powerful energy to practice loving kindness to others. But maybe some of the habits that you have been eating non-veg for a long time, then it will be difficult for you to get rid of that habit. It takes a while. I think that is why some of the food, like what do you call that, fake meat, it's a good way to transition yourself to vegetarianism if you are interested. So in the Visuddhimagga, I was actually searching for these characteristics. Visuddhimagga is so wonderful because the way it treats things, like Lakkana, Rasa, Pachupattana, Padattana, there are a few things that Venerable Buddha was always referring to when he explained things. And as for the characteristic, or this loving kindness or metta, it is characterized here as promoting the aspect of welfare. So you think somebody else's welfare, and that is the lakhana. And rasa, or it is function, is to prefer welfare. And then Pachupatthana, it is manifested as the removal of annoyance. So you have to remove that annoyance. And it is proximate cause is seeing lovableness in beings. You see, when you see someone, you see that lovableness in. And also it succeeds when it makes ill will subside. When you are angry, you cannot practice metta, loving kindness, and it fails when it produces selfish affection. So if you have more selfish affection, then your loving kindness can fail. So all these lakhana, rasa, pachupattana, padattana, characteristics, function, manifestation, proximate cause, and also the succeed and failure is explained in the Visuddhimagga. I recommend you read this from 291 page onward. There are maybe like around 100 pages, but still worth reading about this. Compassion, karuna, is characterized as promoting the aspect of allaying suffering. So when you see someone suffering, you want to help that person get out of the suffering. Its function resides in not bearing others' suffering. So that also is a part of it. Like we have actually in us, we have biologically we also have that feature in us. When we see someone suffering, our heart is normally functioning in a different way, and our brain waves also function in different way. That's actually because of our innate inherent compassion that we have in us. So it is manifested as non-cruelty, and its proximate cause is to see helplessness in those overwhelmed by suffering. And it succeeds when it makes cruelty subside. Again, you see, the previous one was about you have to subside ill will, and this is the cruelty. More or less the same thing, subtle difference though. And it fails when it produces sorrow. So a lot of people, let's say, like they cry when somebody dies, and that means your compassion fails. Your compassion fails there. The practice of loving kindness in this compassion practice is different. So you definitely want to get the people out of their suffering. It is true, but you yourself fail if you produce sorrow. And the other one is gladness, that is mudita, or sympathetic joy. Venerable here he actually gives the meaning, Bhikkhu Jnanamali gives the meaning as a gladness, or sympathetic joy, or what do you call, altruistic joy is another one. This is characterized as gladdening, produced by others' success. When you see someone successful in his or her life, you should be able to be glad. That's really difficult, challenging. Its function resides in being unenvious. So when you have envy, it is difficult. So like a trick that we have to cope up with the envy or issa, what we call, we keep our palms together and think of that person and say sadhu. That is one way of getting rid of your jealousy. And that person has done a lot of good in that his or her past life, also have done a lot of good work and good karma, and thinking that you have to be unenvious. And it is manifested as the elimination of aversion, also called boredom. Its proximate cause is seen being success. So It's really important. If you can see other people succeed, it will be really good. Like one way of bringing happiness, peace to yourself, is sending loving kindness to other people, and also think of them, their success. May that person be well, happy, healthy, safe. May all the prosperity, all the wealth, all the good health, all whatever, all prosperity come to that person, all success comes to that person. If you thank that, I think your mudita can be really, really stronger within you. So it's really good way of fighting with your own aversion, fighting with your own jealousy. And it fails when it produces merriment. Again, you see, um, that's another downside here. And equanimity is characterized as promoting the aspect of neutrality towards beings. So you are neutral. You are not really bothered about other people's whatever. Its function is to see equality in beings. It is manifested as the quieting of resentment and approval. So this equanimity also is a really powerful thing. If you want to go to the fourth jhana, this is the way to practice. And its proximate cause is seen ownership of deeds, kammasaka, and beings are owners of their own deeds, whose, if not theirs, is the choice by which they will become happy, or will get free from suffering, or will not fall away from the success they have reached. When you see somebody like suffering so much, and you have to think, yeah, this is the nature, this is the karma, this is the way it works, this is how it works. You have to think. And when somebody is really, really jubilant, so happy or something, that way also you don't really get upset or jealous or something. You really maintain your same calmness. You see somebody succeed or whatever, and then you do not feel upset. You feel so calm. It succeeds when it makes resentment and approval subside. So resentment and approval should subside here. And it fails when it produces the equanimity of unknowing. So that is the opposing factor here, and we have to be careful about this. And which is that worldly minded indifference of ignorance based on the house life. Yeah, these are the Lakkana Rasa Pachupatthana of this sutta. These four sublime states, Brahma Viharas. And the general purpose of these four divine abidings is the bliss of insight and an excellent form of future existence. Like you want to become like born in a better realm, Brahma realm or something. But that is why Buddha actually did not stop there. He met some of his previous teachers, spiritual masters, Alara Kalama and Uddaka Ramaputta. They taught him some powerful meditation techniques, yes, but it would not go beyond certain limit, and that is why Buddha had to leave them. And here too, the problem is even these metta, karuna, mudita, upeka, they are really, really powerful, very, very helpful too. But there are some downsides too here, and you have to work with that. And once you are there, you should be smart enough not to be carried away by some of those what do you call negative points that we discussed here before. So that peculiar to each is respectively the warding off of evil and so on. For here loving kindness has the purpose of warding off ill will, while the others have the respective purposes of warding off cruelty, aversion, and greed. And this is to say, for this is the escape from ill will, friends, that is to say, the mind deliverance of loving kindness. For this is the escape from cruelty, friends, that is to say, the mind deliverance of compassion. So this is the escape from boredom, friends. That is to say, the mind deliverance of gladness. This is the escape from greed, friends. That is to say, the mind deliverance of equanimity. So if we are more thorough with this awareness and understanding the ups and downs of these meditation practices, this loving kindness and metta, karuna, mudita, upekka can lead you to the final liberation. That is why we need to know these important things. And near and far enemies are also there. Yeah. So I think with that I would like to conclude today, and I also would like to invite you to have a look at this and also practice this. Keep practicing, it will make you happy. And then also need to know some of those downsides while practicing, and then you can lead those, you can get out of this minus points, and then you can make it a more positive and powerful energy, and eventually attain the final liberation. Sadhu, sadhu,
Sadhu.
Namayang Dhammakataya Sadhukarang Namase
Sadhu, 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 anumodami. Thank you so much, Bhante Sumitta, for that beautiful talk on the Brahma Viharas. And hello to all the friends. And there's lots of different quotes, but not a question. But Bhante Sudasan has a comment.
I have a question. So you had mentioned that of the 4 Brahma Viharas, the one that's mentioned the most often in the suttas is equanimity. Then second is metta, third is karuna, fourth is mudita. Why do you think that is? Like, why do you think the Buddha spoke about equanimity so much more often than the others? And why do you think mudita was spoken about so much more rarely than the others? Why do you think they're in this order of frequency?
I think frequency about the other, especially the karuna and mudita, we have less references here, and thadi, or the what do you call the upekka, is also a part of the thadi guna, or the arahanta liberation. So upekka is part of the upekka is with the liberated ones, and part of the upekka is also with the mundane people, like the parents and other people. They also have, we also have. Like when we grow old, we also actually, what we call maturing in life is actually getting more and more upekka, being kind of nonchalant and maintaining that. When the young children are a little bit more aggressive or more animated, oh, this is how it goes. You don't necessarily have that right view, but you think, oh, this is how it is. And that kind of understanding is the mundane upekka. But supramundane upekka is much, much more powerful and avoid of all the other down like loopholes in the process. And so out of these, what do you call, upekka is the most powerful practice, and it is also the most challenging one, I would say. And then it is the metta. And metta means like sending loving kindness to all sentient beings. So like mudita, karuna is for specific categories of sentient beings. Like karuna is for suffering beings only, and mudita is for happy beings only. So that, I think, is why the other two are more powerful and more emphasized. And loving kindness is metta, is unconditional. and borderless love. Like when you send loving kindness to, it's not only those happy and sad, but also to everyone. So actually, I think out of the four, karuna is the easiest one. Karuna is the easiest one, because in our human biologically also we have karuna within us. Whenever you see someone like suffering, you have that. You feel that shock in you. Paradukhe sati hadayam kampeti iti karuna. That is there. That is why I think this sutta, this in Buddha's teachings, compassion is, let's say, like least emphasized. It doesn't mean you should not have. You should definitely have that. But don't you think that even this compassion is slowly decaying in our society sometimes? Like let's say, like somebody wants to help a homeless person, and another person looking at that, and he or she will have some negative feeling about that. Why do you help such people? They will take drugs and they will waste the money, and you should better help yourself or your family or something. Like people would say that. And I think it is not the idea here in practicing loving kindness. You need to feel that compassion in you. That is naturally we have it in us. So I think it is important here. Yes.
Do you think compassion might be waning because it's so easy to fail into sorrow? So I think
yes. Yeah. Like people, it is very easy to turn it to sorrow. When you have compassion, you might even cry, having seen a puppy or someone, a pet, or when they see them going away. It is very easy to melt yourself. It is there. And mudita is little bit challenging. Yeah, it is a little bit challenging. It's not like karuna. You need to really cultivate some good things to have the sympathetic joy, to see someone flourishing in his or her life, succeeding in his or her life. You need to have some extra humanity in you, and you need to make some extra effort if you don't have it in yourself from birth. From past practices, this also can be there. But many people feel jealousy. You will see how many people can accuse people without even seeing the real picture of someone. You like to hear the gossip. You really like to accept it as it is, as it is true, but you don't even know whether it is true or not. You really want to accept it because you have the jealousy within you. You don't like people happy. Yeah, you have that monstrous quality in you. That is why mudita is another very important part. And these two will be helpful to practice other metta and upekka.
Thank you, Bhante. And Amit is asking, is it necessary to practice in order? I want to work on mudita.
Yes, I think you can practice with mudita. I think you already have karuna then. So yes, practice on mudita and see how whenever if you feel like jealousy towards someone, you see. If you have, you can test yourself. Do I have jealousy in me? I see a pretty, like if you are a lady, you can see like a pretty woman, then can you see like, something like hurting in you? If you have that little bit of jealousy, you can work on that. It's really good. Like maybe like good looking person, or a very rich wealthy person, or an educated person. Even let's say like we are meditating, or someone is doing better, you know, that person can sit longer, I cannot sit longer, you know. You feel you like you should be able to cultivate mudita in you. You know, I cannot sit on the floor, I have this difficulty, you know, then you should work on your mudita, definitely. Yeah, you can think of it in many different levels and how it works with you, and you can recognize yourself. I think it is really one most important thing that all of us should do is to be able to accept our fault. Okay, this is my weakness, this is my problem area. I should be able to open my heart and say I accept it, and not try to, you know, with your ego or ignorance or whatever, not try to justify that your weakness. This is what we mostly do actually. Like the snowball theory. You know, the snowball rolls from top of the mountain and then comes down rolling, and combined with so many other dust, and eventually you don't see the snow, only so full of dust and dirt. And similarly, maybe our mudita is being concealed with so many dirt. So we need to remove them. You need to work on them. Yeah, that will be very good.
Thank you, Bhante. We have a lot of questions actually online. They popped up one after the other.
Okay.
So Amaranta has a question similar to Amit. Is it necessary to meditate first metta and then the other three?
I would like to say, like, you start with yourself. You know, start practicing loving kindness to yourself, and then you need to do that, and then you can slowly work towards the others. Some I found some would say like you start with your okay, in the Visuddhimagga it is said you should not start practicing loving kindness to like dead people. You know, and also you should not start practicing loving kindness to your opposite sex people. Don't start with such, because there are reasons for that actually. Like if you start loving kindness to opposite sex people, your lust may arise. You know, you think of that person, and there was a case actually. One monk was meditating, and then inside the house or a temple or something, and then while starting, he was practicing on loving kindness to someone, maybe his later like a lay wife or someone, and then he could not meditate. He was thinking of her all the time. He wanted to go there, meet her. You know, you think of them, that person, and then you see the lust multiplying in you. And it is said he could not find the door of the temple, and he was trying to hit the wall, trying to open the wall. So powerful, very strong urge of, you know, that temptation can be there. So some of the things are there, we need to maybe careful about that. Yeah, for that you need to be a little more stronger. Later on you can practice. And also, do not start with enemies, maybe like unfriendly beings. Do not start with even neutral ones. Like, start with some loved ones, like close to you. It's easier, like first yourself, and then to near and dear ones, then to the neutral ones, and then to the unfriendly ones. Unfriendly ones, try to make them neutral. Neutral ones, try to make them friendly. You know, that way you can slowly and gradually improve your practice.
Thank you, Bhante. And of course, if someone is attracted to the same sex, we recommend also not thinking to the same sex.
Yeah, that depends on your sexual orientation, I think. Yeah.
That is kind of the point. Thank you, Bhante. And Gita says, Bhante, how can one help a being or family who have suffered a great loss, since most people don't see impermanence? Most are concerned about their personal attachment, not realizing that all sankharas are empty.
Yes, I think exactly. I just recently got a message from Los Angeles. Somebody said she was a nurse and she lost her patient and said she was working with that, taking care of that patient for a long time, and now it is very difficult to get rid of the pain that she has. So she went to the temple. She said she tried to close her eyes and she immediately sees that person. It's difficult to get rid of that. What to do? Yeah, this is the problem that many of us have. Actually, when somebody dies, it's very hard. So that is why the more you are attached, the more you suffer. Right? It happens even to a pet. Like you are so close to your pet, and if something happens, you really suffer. Like I've seen like people crying, and I've seen some people actually even doing pansukula, or the what you call funeral service to animals, and it's good. But remember, the most important thing is that negative attachment, which is not good. Even our parents, let's say, like mother, father, are so much closer to our life. If something happens to them, everyone dies no matter what. One day or the other, we all die. We go that way. So in advance, practicing impermanence is very important. We have to know that truth, reality. That will hopefully help us. Otherwise the best thing is time. Time heals, but it takes time. Depends on your practice too. That is why in Buddhism we practice Marananusati, which is a really, really powerful tool. So life is impermanent, so full of glorious uncertainties. You never know when, where, how it happens. When it happens, you have to go. You cannot postpone it. I have an interview tomorrow. Please give me some days. You cannot do that. You cannot bribe the Mara. Lanchagaho na vidyati, it is said. So if you are prepared in advance, it is easier for you to cope up with that situation when the real thing happens.
Thank you, Bhante. And Sam asks, hi Bhante, I'm unclear with the word radiate. Radiate. Is the Metta Sutta to overcome own fearful emotion, or to radiate loving kindness to other beings? And then it continues, when one is non-ill will and having all the quality in the Metta Sutta, we create a harmony atmosphere around us. So other beings around us feel our goodness indirectly. In that way, we radiate.
Yeah, we have several questions here, right?
Yes. So I think they just want to understand what radiate means, like the word.
Radiate.
Yeah.
Okay, like you close your eyes, you can radiate loving kindness to other people. How do we do that? Actually, that is what we call telepathy, right? We can connect with that person. Think of that person. Let's say my mother is like far away place, or like my father is very far from me now, or my loved one, whosoever. You think of that person, and with a good intention, send the loving kindness to that person, and that could be telepathically connected. I remember when I was in India, my mother gave me a call, and that time I was also still a monk, and it was winter time there, and I was sneezing once, and she sent me a long letter. Take care of yourself and all that stuff, So they still have that connection. And one time I think I said that before, when I was a young Samanera monk, I got chicken pox. And my mother showed up the following day. I was really surprised. I didn't want to show my mom that I was sick, I wanted to hide. But she showed up and I asked, how did you come here? And she said, I saw you in the dream.
Oh.
You see, like that connection can be there. They already send us loving kindness. They think of us. And if we also think of, even with some animals, with some people, family members, patients, a lot of people are suffering today. We think of those people and pray for that person. If you continue to do so and depends on your own powerful practice, that person can feel it. It is called radiation. Radiation depends on your power. You can do it to maybe very close people like around, or if you are very powerful, you can send it to like endless. Yeah.
Thank you, Bhante. And Gita asks, very apt, should we just silently radiate compassion during these difficult times?
Yes, I think if you can do it, that will be okay. Like difficult time, let's say now you are attending a funeral service. Let's say someone like died with an accident, and then you go there, you see like their mood really shaking. You can't even give advice to them. That time better not to give actually some advice. They might even get angry sometimes. Like in some cases, and but silently you can do that. Silently you can always practice loving kindness to suffering people. Even with the angry people, let's say someone is angry with you with some due to some reason, someone is angry with you, send loving kindness to that person. Even if you are sitting next to that person, you can silently send loving kindness. One thing, it gives good energy, it generates good energy within you, and then it also affects the other person in the positive way. Because when you are happy, when you are calm, when you relax, even in front of those unfriendly beings, those people will watch you, observe you, they can feel it. They can feel that. Even the animals can feel it. Have you seen some animals coming to some people, like out of the many, like they go to only few people, like maybe wild animals sometimes. It's amazing how they do it. They feel that energy. They feel that sensation. For example, the snakes, their sensitivity is much more stronger. Although their eyesight is weak and their ear, they don't have ears, I think. And the whole body is there. The vibration, whatever happens, is how they feel, how they sense. So if you are close to an animal, the snake, snake can have different postures, like attack mode or defense mode or just neutral mode. And if there is a neutral, like a person who is practicing loving kindness, the snake would be in neutral mode. If someone is like angry, aggressive person, that one will always be defensive or even attacking. Yeah, this practice of loving kindness has so many wonderful things.
Thank you, Bhante. And Derek says, do you believe there is a more clear translation of metta than loving kindness? The love component appears misleading, confusing.
Yeah, so loving kindness, yes, the one in loving kindness, as I mentioned, like lust, right? Loving kindness can either metta can lead to sorrow. So that is what he asked, right?
Mm-hmm. If there's a better translation than loving kindness for metta.
I think it is, yeah, you're right. Like it is difficult to find translations for some words. Loving kindness means can be unconditional love, boundless love, immeasurable love, and I think metta is also can be friendliness. It is difficult. It is not so easy to translate from one language to another because it has a lot of cultural baggage in it, and you can really translate those things into a completely different language. Like Eastern language to a West language, they have poles apart, difficult to translate, and so we constantly have difficulties, challenges in translating. So I recommend, like if you have like similar, like whatever translation you want to give, it is also better to give the original word within brackets, just to make sure that the other person will understand. For example, when I'm more used to Pali, so when I read some completely English versions, I'm always trying to find the Pali equivalent. So if I don't find it, I'm not so comfortable. Like let's say like metta, it took me a while to understand loving kindness and compassion. They are two different concepts. I later on only I knew that loving kindness is for metta, compassion for karuna. So yes, that can happen. Like some of these words are not enough for us to express the same meaning. You're right. You know how it is difficult when you translate from Pali to Italy, something, right?
Actually, in Italian, it's easier. Words like this, there's more vocabulary than English, surprisingly. There's different nuances of, actually, there's the thesaurus is like this comparison to the English one. So that is somewhat easier.
And that way people can be confused too. Like a lot of people, a lot of people give different translations. And so like for metta, someone can give one word, and for karuna, so another one can give so many other words. So readers, they will get confused.
So brackets.
Yeah,
I think
bracket would be a good idea.
Thank you, Bhante. And Rick says, how does developing equanimity help to provide freedom from greed?
So freedom from greed, when you have equanimity, you also kind of do not get attached to things, because equanimity, like loving kindness, can be attached to greed, and but equanimity, upekha, is little bit away from greed. And I think out of them, upekha is a little bit more advanced and also a little bit more difficult or challenging, and more closer to our other like vipassana practice. We can easily translate upekha into any vipassana practice. Yes, equanimity can be practiced. It can be practiced compared to others without much greed or hatred or ill will.
All right, and that was the last question. And I think that's all for this evening. So we'll see you all again tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. New York City time with Sutta Study with Bhante Sudaso. And then in the evening, we'll have monk chat, although there won't be Bhante Sudaso. But there will be some other monastics who will answer your questions. So see you again tomorrow, and I'll pass it on to Bhante Sumitta to end the evening.
Yeah, I was little concerned about the timing because I know Bhante Sudaso, so after 9 is out of the mood. So I would like to transfer metta to you. Transferring merits to devas and other beings. Let us transfer all the merits that we have accrued today and before by practicing the Anusila Bhavana. May all Devas, Brahmas, all sentient beings receive this merit, share this merit, be well, happy, healthy, safe wherever they are. With that good intention, let us transfer merit to Devas and other beings. Ettavata camhi sambhatang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ettavata camhi sambhatang punya sampadang sabbe bhutanumodanto sabba sampatti siddhya. Ettavata camhi sambhatang punya sampadang sabbe sattanumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Let us also think of all the departed ones, all your grandparents, your parents, or any other family member, friends, relative, whosoever passed away. Let us think of all of them. May they all receive this merit, share this merit, be well, happy, healthy, safe wherever they are. May they attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Thinking thus, let us recite. Idang me ñātinang hotu sukhetā hontu ñātayo. Idang me ñātinang hotu sukhetā hontu ñātayo. Idang me ñātinang hotu sukhetā hontu ñātayo. Aspiration for Kalyana with the friends. By means of this meritorious deed, may I never join with the foolish, may I join always with the wise, until the time I attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Thinking thus, let us recite this verse. Imena punya kamena mame bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana pattiya. Imena punya kamena mame bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana pattiya. Imena punya kammena mame bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana pattiya. Aspiration for Nibbana. By the power of all these merits that we have accrued today and before, may all of us be always be associated with the Dhamma, with the Kalyana, with the friends. May all of us be able to practice the Dhamma and eventually get rid of this infinite samsaric misery and suffering. May all of us be able to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana, the absolute peace and happiness at the end of our samsara. Thinking thus, please recite. Idang me punyang asavakkaya vahang hotu. Idang me punyang asavakkaya vahang hotu. Idang me punyang asavakkaya vahang hotu. Sabba dukkha pamuncatu. Sabba bhaya pamuncatu. Sabba roga pamuncatu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.